Jack Della Maddalena defeats Belal Muhammad and takes his welterweight belt back to Australia. Fuck yes. Volk and now JDM are UFC champions. This is every Australian MMA fan's dream come true. Let's talk about how JDM dealt with Belal round by round. Before we begin, please subscribe if you're new here for consistent combat sports coverage. Thank you so much, now let's get into it. Round 1 begins and JDM controls the center of the octagon early, and this ring generalship along with his crisp boxing combinations and slick takedown defense is what won him the fight. Before this fight even happened, I was certain that Belal would put the pressure on Jack and the latter would try to punish him for it at close range. Jack would be on the back foot, countering Belal's offense and crazy pressure. It turns out that I was completely wrong. It was JDM leading the dance for a good 80% of the fight, and Belal struggled to truly pin him down until like the 4th or 5th round. JDM did a great job at not letting himself get caught behind the black line around the octagon and close to the fence, where Belal does his best takedown and pressure work. Of course, Belal is a tough fighter, and there were points where he did push JDM up against the cage, but Jack was quick to get out of these bad spots. It didn't really hinder him too much. I was surprised at how well JDM used his footwork to circle out and avoid the outside of the octagon. During the opening couple of rounds, whenever Belal got JDM with a decent shot, JDM would end the arguments by always landing the more effective work soon after. Most of the time, he landed a combination of punches to the head and body rather than a simple 1-2 counter. Belal deserves credit though for hanging in there with JDM striking and having some solid moments throughout the fight. He could have shot for a takedown within the first 10 seconds, but he chose to mostly have a technical kickboxing match with JDM, and I respect him for it. I mean, this is easily the best Belal fight I've ever seen. Although it didn't bode well for him when the decision got called. He stood his ground in the middle of the octagon with JDM and was exchanging, but JDM was too crisp and economical with his offense. Eventually, Belal shot for a takedown in the first and mixed up his approach to the fight later on. JDM nullified the majority of the attempts until the 4th round where Belal succeeded in taking him down. From his fight against Gilbert Burns to now, Jack Della's grappling defense has improved significantly, and that was a part of his game that he needed to improve, especially if he wants to beat Islam later down the track. We'll talk about that fight in a later video. Today I want to focus on the Belal vs JDM bout itself. Round 2 was a closer round to score, but ultimately because of the damage inflicted by JDM, I have to give the round to him. Belal looked better on the feet, catching JDM and giving him things to be cautious of, but I didn't think he connected with enough power shots in order for him to win the round, or the fight for that matter. Even though Belal landed more and more on JDM as the fight went on, JDM did such a good job at slipping a lot of the punches coming his way. Along with the footwork and keeping off the outside of the octagon, JDM's defensive responsibility that he maintained during the fight was incredible. That being said, whenever Belal did grab JDM and clinch with him up against the fence, he capitalized on it well. I remember a very hard elbow he landed in round 2 especially, which had me concerned. But Jack ate it like a fucking champ and kept on boxing anyway. As you can tell, I'm biased towards Jack Della Maddalena because it's like, how could I not be? I'm Australian, he's Australian, and it doesn't hurt that he seems like quite a humble, nice dude, in a similar vein to Volk. Basically, JDM is a fucking sick cunt, and I was impressed a lot by how he kind of dominated Belal on the feet. Of course Belal got his shots in, I'm not trying to discredit his performance, but the major damage being inflicted was from Jack. Round 3 was more of the same, lots of good little moments of stand-up action, especially towards the end of a round where they are going back and forth with their power shots. I'd say that round 4 was Belal's best round. Around 2 minutes in, Belal lands 2 consecutive uppercuts, which backs Jack up against the cage. Then Belal goes to work with a level change. He held JDM there for quite a while and had some success. This is what he kinda should have done in round 1 if he wanted to net the decision win. So we're up to the final round and it was fucking electric. I think Belal knew he was down on the cards, or at least drawing 2-2, so he went out and picked up the fucking tempo. He looked like how I thought he was going to come out during round 1. Non-stop pressure, always coming forward. Belal peppers the jab out, then shoots for a double leg which works out in his favour. It seemed like Belal was going to win the round by just laying on JDM, elbowing him until the final bell goes. But no, JDM gets up like a fucking stud and puts a beating on Belal in the final minute or so. I've been telling people, man, that JDM is a scrapper and has the willpower to just pull victories out of his ass. That last minute of the fight was insane, and when I heard "and the new," I was ecstatic, what can I say? I was actually at work trying to avoid getting caught watching the fights, but I let out an audible "fuck yeah cunts" in the store when JDM won. Anyway, JDM is the new undisputed welterweight champion, and while I think he can beat any of the guys that the UFC put in front of him, he has to go through a murderer's row. Welterweight is by far the most stacked division in the UFC, featuring a new crop of talent like Ian Gary, Shavkat, Walking, Buckley, and also the old dogs like Usman and Leon. So we'll see, I guess, how much that belt changes hands over the next couple of years. I bet it's going to be quite a lot. For right now though, we have 2 reigning Australian champs, and that's fucking sick. I'll catch you down the road.